Hi, and good morning. It's me, Mary, and I'm here to do Sunday school for you. We are all staying at home today, and so I just thought I would do a quick video, share a story with you, and share a little activity that you can do at home with your parents. So gather around and we'll have a little bit of a story time to start, and then we'll do a fun activity after. So for our activity today, if you want to pause the video, you're going to just need a little bit of dirt. You could use potting soil as I have here, or you could go outside and gather some dirt from your backyard. So if you want to stop the video now and then come back when you've got some dirt, that's okay. Or if you want to just do this activity part later, that would be great too. So today we're going to talk about a story where Jesus heals a blind man. And so I want to read that story to you now. One Sabbath day, as Jesus left the temple, he saw a blind man begging by the roadside. This man had been blind since birth. He lived with his parents in Jerusalem. The disciples had seen him before. They asked, "Master, who sinned that this man would be born blind?" "No one sinned," Jesus told them. "He is blind so the power of God can be shown through him." The disciples watched as Jesus stopped in front of the blind man. Mixing a little clay, Jesus rubbed it in his hands and placed it on the blind man's eyelids. "Go and wash in the pool of Siloam," Jesus told the poor man. Without a word, the blind man arose and groped his way to the pool. Here he washed the mud from his sightless eyes. Immediately he could see, and he ran home to tell others the good news. Everyone was surprised when he was told what had happened. Some who saw him asked, "Is this the man who sat by the roadside and begged?" To this, some said, "This is he." Others replied, "It looks like him." The man who had been blind settled the question by saying, "I am he." The excitement grew when the people heard that Jesus had opened his blind eyes. They gathered around him and asked, "What did Jesus do to you? How did he open your eyes?" The man told how Jesus mixed a little clay, rubbed it on his eyes, and sent him to wash in the pool of Siloam. "When I did as he had commanded, I could see," he said joyfully. So this is a story about a man who was born blind. And the first thing that the disciples said when they saw this man was, "Who sinned?" And in some translations it says, "Who sinned, the man or his parents, that he should be born blind?" So why did they say that? Can you think of any reasons why they might have said that? Well, it's because in those days people believed that if you were born with a disability, or if something bad happened to you, or if you got sick, that it must be as a result of sin. But we now know today that it's often because of genetics, that some people are born differently. Some people have blue eyes and brown eyes. Some people have blonde hair. Some people have dark hair. And it's just the same with other things. Some people might be born blind because of their because of their DNA. So some people might get sick, and that's often due to various viruses and bacteria that can cause people to become sick. And so this is just one of those things. This man was born blind, and it's probably because of his genetics. But Jesus replies that it wasn't because anybody had sinned. It was so that the power of God could be shown through him, through this miracle. And so Jesus heals a lot of people in his ministry, and he never questions why that person has a particular disease. He never questions whether they had been sinful or not. He never judges them. He just reaches out and he heals people that need to be healed. He cares for people that needs to be cared for. And so that's the question that we want to talk about today. How can we help people? How can we care for people? And how can we especially look out for those who are particularly vulnerable? And so I've been thinking about this over the last couple of days, and one of the ways right now that we're caring for people who are the most vulnerable is by staying home, because there's a virus that is particularly dangerous for people in certain age categories or who have health concerns. And so many of you have been staying home from school lately, and we're not going to church today, and we're not going to Sunday school, and that's because in order to prevent the spread of this virus, we are limiting the number of people that we come into contact to, because viruses can be spread from people to people, from person to person, and that's how people are getting sick right now. So one of the ways that we're caring for others is by staying home, not because we have fear or we're afraid of what could happen, but because we don't want people to get sick. And so we're just taking extra precautions right now to make sure that that happens, that people don't get sick. So rather than looking at people and judging or asking them why bad things have happened to them or why they were born with a certain disability, we should look for opportunities to help people and to be kind and to show love to one another. And so I hope that you'll do that and remember that this is how we are caring for each other. And there are other ways we can care. We can make a phone call, we can send a letter, and we can check in on those that we love and make sure that they're doing well and that they have everything that they need. So I hope that you'll do that. Make a phone call to a grandparent or a neighbor and just let them know that you care about them. And if they need anything, you'll be there for them. So in our story, how is it that Jesus heals this man? Do you remember from the story? In some translations, it says that Jesus spit into the dirt and made mud. And he put the mud on the man's eyes. Well, we're not going to do that, but I do have a quick activity that you can do together at home. So I wanted you to just take some of your soil or your dirt that you've gathered from your backyard. And this is just some potting soil that I have in one of my little garden pots. And you can place that into a little dish here. Just put a little bit. Okay, so there's my little bit of dirt in my bowl. And you can see if you want to run your hands through it. Mine is really dry because this is a pot that I've been storing indoors over the winter. But reach in and just touch the dirt, touch the soil, and notice how it feels in your fingers. If you gathered some dirt from outside, it may already be pretty muddy and wet because we've had an awful lot of rain lately. The soil in my outdoor garden is probably really muddy and soggy. So just take a moment to maybe run your fingers through the dirt just a little bit, feel that in your hands, and think about how we use dirt and what we can do with dirt. There's lots of fun things. Well, we can make little mud pies if you want. And if your dirt is dry like mine, I'm going to add just a little bit of water. I'm not going to spit into the soil the way Jesus did. I'm just going to use a little bit of water here. Just a little bit. You might want to have mom or dad help you pour just a little bit of water in here just to make it damp. That's still dry. I'm going to add a little bit more. We just want to make a little bit of mud. Okay, here we go. And that totally changes the way the soil feels. And you might want to just put a little bit of mud here in the palm of your hand. And imagine what it might have felt like to have Jesus spread that mud and to heal whatever needs to be healed. It's an interesting sensation, isn't it? And there's lots of fun things we can do with this. One fun thing that you might do if you have some at home is you could plant some seeds. I got in the mail, I got a little packet of seeds right here. These are some sunflower seeds, you can see that. So I might just plant some seeds later. We all like to have soil in our garden that we can sometimes grow vegetables in it or grow some herbs. If you have some plants, this is a nice time of year to plant some young seedlings or to plant some seeds in your garden and see how they grow. So I'm going to plant these little seeds right here just as a sign of hope for the future, because that's what seeds are, right? Planting seeds in dirt gives us hope for the future because we're waiting and waiting for these seeds to sprout. So I'm going to plant these seeds in some soil today, and hopefully in a few weeks we'll start to see some growth. We'll start to see some little seedlings in here. So I will bring these in the next time we come to church, which is hopefully just going to be in a few weeks, and this will all pass. I'll bring these seedlings in and I'll share them with you. So I hope that you come back to church once everything gets back to normal, as I'm sure it will. Oops, I just kicked the camera. So please come and join with me in just celebrating the earth today and celebrating spring and celebrating that we do have hope through Jesus who heals us. Have a great week, everybody.